Okay, bye. So this is a 1200 horsepower Gallardo built by Hefner Performance, and I believe I'm going to stall this every single time. So let's go for it. I think I got it. All right, so usually these cars are E-gear. This one is a gated shifter manual. So the last Gallardo we drove was a twin turbo Superleggera built by Shine Auto. It had 850 wheel horsepower and it was an E-gear. This is a 6-speed manual with a gated shifter. So the clutch is vicious, everything's vicious. And Hefner, if you don't know, is pretty much the original. He had the guts to try messing with exotics. A lot of people didn't want to mess with the exotics for obvious reasons, but he had the guts to try it, and now we have pretty much the timeline of highway pool cars. You have the Supras, which dominated forever, then you have the R35 GTR, which is also a king right now. But when the Lambos came in, nobody expected it. I will say the seating position's awesome for this, and when you clank into the next gear, it's really, really satisfying. Oh my God. Respect the power, learn the power. This is the highest horsepower car I think I've ever been in, and we're just gonna ease into it, go halfway in it. Wow. Oh my gosh. All the backfires and that was 4,500 RPM. Oh no. When this kind of became a trend back maybe around 2010, 2011, I remember I was just absolutely flabbergasted, and I was like, I will drive one of those one day. And then when I finally did, but at the 850 horsepower level, I was like, I can't imagine adding more to this. And yet here I am, once again. Hefner actually put a better rear end in this, so it comes off the line easier. But not only that, that means this car could potentially go to 260 miles an hour. We don't have the room for that, obviously, but it can do it. Well, I definitely merged onto the highway. If there's one thing to describe a twin turbo Lambo, it's a giggle machine. I can't stop smiling, I can't stop laughing. And it's so funny, recently I got to tour the Lamborghini factory and see some of the models they created after all these years and some of their concepts. And you know, they were always about naturally aspirated motors. But when somebody found out you could do this, it's a whole different level. So I've lowered the windows so you guys can really hear the car. Wow. Wow. I feel like I just got hit with a whip. That's fire. Third gear. Whoa. Okay, to be fair, I'm not scared, it's just the utter shock of how fast it gets going. Once you hit 6,000 to 7,000 RPM, you feel your temples being pulled right here. It's nuts. This thing goes 70 to 130 in 4 seconds. So the owner of this car told me that when he does kind of a pull in the highway, he does kind of a gear up compared to the one he would normally be in another performance car, because you just simply don't need it. You just reel it all the way out because it's so smooth. And once it hits that top power band, it's just a rocket ship. You might ask why I let off on that last gear, but the truth is those people that are like a quarter mile away from you, they come up so fast that you're like, do you want to try and prove your point, or do you want to run into somebody? So it's just something that you have to get used to, because in a normal performance car that's 400, 500 horsepower, you can row through the gears and you're still okay to get on the brakes. This is, you need football fields to make sure you're okay. That was a roll on in 4th. Goodness gracious. It's just so interesting, because when you drive a normal Lamborghini, it's fun, it's great, but it's funny, you hit every gear almost and you're cooking, you're definitely going fast, but this, there's just nothing like this. So, 3rd gear, completely controllable, no problem. As soon as I heard that thunk into 4th, you feel the car go right back into power, but you also get a tiny little sway. So it creates this like boat effect. Like if you were on water and you hit that plane, you start going like this. Yeah, it's next level. So these are RAAA tires, so you should never drive this car in any kind of cold weather ever. If you do, you're in trouble. You're gonna spin all 4 tires, and that's just not fun and not safe. But at the same time, it also shows how good the RAAA is, because it is just buttery smooth. Also, this is on pump gas, 93 octane, and it's still making 1,200 horsepower. Usually, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you would need E85 or race gas. There's gallons and gallons of race gas. Not here, not here. You're still cooking. Oh my God, that was second. Second is insane. Oh my God. So one thing, if you've never driven a gated shifter, you think of it with a boot, for example. A normal shifter, it's just, you could almost go straight up into 3rd gear. With this, you kind of go at a little bit of an angle, then go into 3rd. Same with 5th gear. But I will say, having a twin turbo car, or twin turbo Lambo in particular, and having the gated shifter, when I went into 4th gear back there, it was so satisfying just grabbing that next gear, because you know what's coming next. With the E gear, it's just smooth as can be, but with this, it's just, you wait for that next moment, and it's a thrill, it's fun. It's funny, the owner is telling me that you never get sick of this thing, and there's no way you could get sick of this thing. I could understand if maybe later you wanted to upgrade, quote unquote, to a Huracan or something like that and do the same thing, but it's not gonna be that much different. And it's just so intoxicating to go that quickly in that short amount of time. And you're like, yeah, no, this thing's fine. I don't need any more than this. This car, compared to the last one I drove, that was actually a stock engine. So that 850 horsepower was solid with stock engine, but this is actually a fully built Gallardo engine. The V10 in this is no joke. So you have all that reinforcement to add more boost to the car, which obviously adds more fun. Stop and go traffic in this is pretty difficult. Fire. So interesting to me, because I'm not spinning, I'm not going crazy, I'm not scared, I'm just enjoying the ride. And I'm sure on a colder day, it would be a completely different story. But as for today, it's doing its job. Hefter did an amazing job with this thing. I really have to hand it off to him. And yeah, it just, when you're driving around under 4,000, it feels like a stock Gallardo. But as soon as you get past 4 or 5, you're like, the party's about to arrive. It's insane. I must have the most concentrated face I've ever had when I drive this car. It's just the whole don't die phase, because as soon as you get into boost, it's just a different level. You get to the top of third in this thing and you're done. I mean, there's really nothing else you can do unless you have more and more and more and more. I could do that all day and I'd be happy, to be honest with you. This kind of car also shows how far the aftermarket has come. It used to be, you know, you had to use a piggyback ECU, or you had to wire everything into your circuit board, or get a flash tune, or something offline. Now, there's so much stuff you can do to a car that when somebody says, oh, I have a twin turbo Lambo, you don't think, oh, that's gonna blow up. You think, that car's awesome and it's gonna work for the most part. The way this power band kicks in, it's a second, it's a second, it's a second, then goodbye. There's just no, you know, you just can't do anything about it. Anyways, guys, I want to thank every single one of you for stopping by. I wanted to show what it was like to drive one of these, specifically over 1,000 horsepower. It is absolutely bonkers. It lives up to the hype, and I've had an amazing time. I want to give a big thanks to the owner of this car, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye.